Welcome back to the Lockbomb Show. This week I decided to play through one of my all-time favorite video game franchises, MegaMan. MegaMan was first released in 1987 on NES, but I only had Mega Man 5 and Mega Man X for Super NES. When I finally got the chance to play through some of the other games, it was like finding buried treasure. So many different bosses, so many unique abilities, so little time. This is the first of many videos I'm going to start, and I figured I'd start at the beginning with Mega Man 1, so here goes. So, the idea behind Mega Man is there's this crazy mad scientist, Dr. Wily, who looks like Albert Einstein, and basically he keeps programming these evil machines to, these Reploids to fight, and to cause havoc and mayhem. And so it's Mega Man's job, who's a good robot. He was actually programmed to be a janitor, and then they weaponized him somehow. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but hey, it worked out. But anyway, Mega Man goes around, he kicks their butts, and when he beats them, he absorbs a fraction of their power, and that power is a strength against, each boss has their own strength and their own weakness, and so you can kind of strategize which bosses you defeat, and once you beat them all, then you go to Wily's castle. I started out with Iceman. The background is nice and light blue, which makes sense being that it's Iceman. It gives the feeling of a frozen tundra. The enemies are pretty limited and you make your way along easily enough until you reach the part of the map where God forsakes you. The disappearing blocks part. There's something about these blocks that traumatized me as a kid. I didn't even realize it until I heard the sound that they made when they appear, and then the PTSD came rolling back. The pattern isn't even that complicated, but it's the spiked mine constantly hitting you in the water below you that makes you feel like this is more like defusing a bomb than a friendly puzzle. You're frantically trying to get out of the water and you have no escape until those stupid blocks come back. If you miss, you fall back in and get hit some more. You finally make your way past the blocks and drop down a tube, only to find even more blocks waiting for you. Great. After more frustration, you finally figure those blocks out, and you get to these platforms that are glitchy as crap. When you get hit, for some reason you fall entirely through the platform, and you just fall to your death, killing you instantly. When you die, guess where the map respawns you? Right back to your friends, the blocks again. Great! When you finally get to Iceman, it's pretty straightforward. He does a lot of damage, but he never deviates from the same simple pattern, so once you get the timing right, he's done for. Fireman's level is pretty cool background and neat music. You've basically stepped into Dante's Inferno. There are pillars of fire, pitfalls of fire, ground fires, pieces of fire, and bullets that were fired from Super Mario. Fireman is easy as blowing out a candle. You don't even need his weakness, you just literally run up and shoot him until he dies. As long as you have full health and charge at him, you'll always kill him faster than he can kill you. In Bomb Man's level, there's a ton of crap shooting at you from all different directions. It's the easiest level to get through, other than Guts Man, but you take so much damage that you better have more than 0 lives when you try it, because you'll need 1 life just to get to the boss gates, and then you'll need another life to actually win the fight. It's got crappy music and lots of annoying enemies everywhere, including these freaking green proto-men looking guys that just jump in front of your path with shields, and they block you and take forever to kill. When you do get to Bomb Man, use Fireman's power and you'll kill him easily. After Bomb Man, you should probably go to Gutsman next. Other than the platform part at the very beginning of the level, which is kind of hard and just takes a little practice, he's the easiest boss to get to. He's got a cool rocky looking background, and the music makes you feel like you could be hauling gravel in a hard hat. Gutsman is really easy enough when he's throwing rocks at you, but then all of a sudden he decides to start jumping towards you, and that's when you're really screwed big time. You have no way to dodge it whatsoever. By the way, what exactly is Gutsman? And why the turban? Anyway, in my opinion, you really should get Bomb Man first, because his ability makes the battle way easier. Cutman's level has high energy Tetris music, more climbing up stuff, and stuff that shoots you from all angles, but not nearly as bad as Bomb Man's. Pairs of scissors periodically jump out of a dark void that you're walking by and scare the crap out of you. Also, it's this strange off-green color for the background, just kind of a weird choice for a predominant color. It doesn't make me think of Cutman, or scissors or anything like that. Lots of annoying moving blocks, and like Fireman, when you get to Cutman, you just run up to him and shoot the crap out of him with your starting weapon and he'll die easy enough. Lockbomb has some of the greatest music in the game, but the level itself sucks. You're climbing up the level the whole time, so you're constantly going up. And when you start off right in the level, there are these moving spike mines again, and they really grind your gears. Then, when you get past those, you have to time these electrical shocks, and then more disappearing blocks. But the worst part is, if you mistime the disappearing blocks, you risk falling all the way back down to the start of the map. When you advance, you have two choices when climbing. If you have Gutsman beat already, you stay to the right and get the magnetic platforms weapon, which you need in order to beat the game. If not, just stay to the left and make your way to Electroman. If you have his weakness, Cutman, he dies really easy. If not, you can still beat him with the starting weapon easily enough. When you've beaten the original 6 bosses and gotten the magnetic platform weapon from Lockbomb's level, you can finally take on Wily's castle. Wily's music has this really somber feel and builds this interesting tension. It stands out from the rest of the game's scores, and it's pretty much the only other good one except for Lockbomb in my opinion. The setting itself isn't anything to write home about. The stages are challenging and force you to reuse a lot of abilities that you absorbed along the way by defeating bosses, which is cool. For instance, you use Iceman to freeze the giant sentries, to freeze the flames like in Fireman's level, you use Gutsman or Lockman's ability to move those big blocks out of your way, and you use the magnetic platform weapon you get in the Lockman's level to climb up walls. A major source of frustration with this level is the return of those glitchy platforms from Iceman's level. Sometimes when you drop down, they'll never ever come down so that you can jump on them and progress in the stage. It's like in Die Hard 2 when the planes just do a holding pattern for hours. Because you drop down, you can't go back a screen and come back and hope that it reloads, and you're left with no choice but to jump on the spikes and kill yourself, and hope that they do what they're supposed to do when you respawn. You get across those spikes, you use the magnetic beam, and then you run into the Yellow Devil. Get ready to die a lot. Yellow Devil is really hard to beat, and he's probably where most of us quit the last time we played this game. There's no easy button or trick, you just have to die and die until you learn his pattern, and also you master the short stubby jumps versus the full jumps, which is tricky. Level 2 is when you actually start fighting against the old bosses again, going through Cutman, Lockman, and, well, MegaMan. Yes, you actually get cloned and have to fight the mirror image of yourself. Good news is that you suck and you're weak, so defeating you is pretty easy. A double-edged sword, Wily. Fireman seemed to do the trick for me. In level 3, the music changes. It's crappier, but after hearing the same Wily song on constant loop, you don't mind it so much. It starts like a normal level, but then the tunnel starts to fill up with what I can only assume is water. Your mechanics and gameplay are totally unaffected, which is lazy, but whatever. You find out when you reach the end that you're fighting this bubble boy. Whatever you do, do not use Gutsman's power first. You come into the room, you see the blocks in the middle and think, oh, he's weak against Gutsman. Easy, right? Wrong. He is weak against him, but you only get 4 shots. Every time you pop him, he comes back faster and faster and stronger, so it's best that you save the 4 blocks until he's almost dead. Also, if you use them, you have no way of dodging his hits, and you'll die for sure. And guess what? When you die and you come back in the room, the freaking blocks are gone. They don't respawn until you get a game over and have to fight your way through the entire level again. Once I figured this out, it was easy to burst his bubble, but it sucked trying to figure it out. Wily Stage 4 is the last level, and man is it tough. You have to run the gauntlet, fighting your way through the remaining original bosses. Then you have to fight 2 versions of Wily with whatever amount of health and weapons you have left. If you die, you have to fight your way through all the bosses again, so forget about beating them and then dying to have full health against Wily. I literally died over 30 times trying to beat this level, so I won't pretend like it was easy. You just have to stick with it. Use Fireman for the first version, and then Cutman for the second version. Other than that, get used to this noise. If you can manage to get through that, you beat the game and you get to watch MegaMan running without his helmet. Almost makes all the dying worthwhile. Well, have a good week and until next time.